A boy walks out of the forest with no memories at all. No name, no home, no identity. But the strangest thing, he doesn't even have a belly button. And he never sleeps. Who is this boy? Is he part of some secret experiment? Or a mystery the world was never meant to uncover? Today we bring you a mind-blowing sci-fi mystery. A show that gets more intriguing with every single episode. The story begins with a boy, completely naked. A boy lies in the middle of the forest, drenched in some strange liquid. At first glance, it looks like a college prank gone wrong, but the truth is far more bizarre. Not only has the boy forgotten who he is, he doesn't even know where he is. After wandering around for a while, he starts heading toward the city, hoping someone there might help him. But there's one big problem. He's completely naked. His eyes look at everything like it's brand new, as if he's seeing the world for the very first time. As people stare at him in shock, he keeps walking forward until the police finally show up. They arrest him and take him to a detention center. Wandering the streets like that, the boy is charged with public indecency. Wandering the streets without clothes, unknowingly exposing himself to people. He still doesn't know his name and can't understand a single word the police are saying. So the officers give him one, Kyle. Kyle is taken for a medical examination, and during the tests, two strange things come to light. First, his body is flawless. No wrinkles, no blemishes, not even a single pimple. Second, and most shocking, he doesn't have a belly button. Even the doctor on duty is stunned by what he sees. While they wait for his test results, Kyle is sent to the dining hall. There, he watches other boys eating and tries to mimic them as if he's never seen food before, let alone eaten any. He imitates one of the boys, but that boy takes offense. He thinks Kyle is mocking him. The situation escalates quickly and a fight breaks out. Later, when the boys are out in the yard, the same boy punches Kyle hard in the face. Kyle falls to the ground, and within moments he wets his pants. His behavior leaves the guards confused. They have no idea what to make of him. The guards call in the center's psychiatrist, Nicole, to speak with Kyle and try to figure out what's really going on with him. He's an odd boy, no doubt, but there's something incredibly innocent about him. He has no understanding of how the world works, no grasp of social norms or human behavior, and yet everything he does shows a natural brilliance. Nicole asks him to draw something, and Kyle, like a human printer, creates a flawless sketch. Two people standing close to each other. A couple he had briefly seen in the woods. They looked like lovers, lost in their own world. Kyle shows no signs of aggression. He's calm, quiet, and curious. Because of this, Nicole makes a bold decision. She decides to take him home. There, in a safer, more familiar setting, she hopes to run further tests and understand what might have happened to him. She suspects that Kyle may have gone through some kind of trauma, a major incident that possibly wiped out his memories. His past is a complete mystery. It's as if his mind has shut the door on everything he once knew. When they arrive at Nicole's house, her daughter Lori is caught off guard. She steps out of the shower in a towel, only to find a complete stranger standing in the hallway. Lori freezes in shock as she spots Kyle standing in front of her. For a moment, neither of them says a word. Kyle seems completely lost, like he's still living in another world. Lori, distracted and in a rush to meet her boyfriend, brushes it off and doesn't pay much attention. Later, Kyle steps outside. He's instantly drawn to a butterfly fluttering nearby, and without thinking, he follows it. As he moves through the neighborhood, he hears soft, beautiful music coming from a nearby house. Curious, he walks in, and that's where he meets Amanda. The moment Kyle hears Amanda play, tears begin to stream from his eyes. He doesn't understand why it's happening, but he's frozen in place, unable to move. Amanda turns to face him, startled by the sight of a stranger in her home. Terrified by her reaction, Kyle panics and runs away. He races back to Nicole's house and hides inside the bathroom, curling up inside the bathtub. Just then, Lori's younger brother Josh walks in, casually flipping through an adult magazine, unaware that someone is already in the room. He's too absorbed in the pictures to notice, until he looks up and sees Kyle hiding in the tub. Josh screams in absolute terror and bolts straight to his mom, leaving the magazine behind in the panic. After scolding Josh, Nicole hears the doorbell ring. When she opens it, she finds Carol, Amanda's mother, standing there, furious. She She's come to confront Nicole about the strange encounter that took place earlier. Carol had already visited earlier that morning, trying to make sense of who Kyle was. But when she asked him to tell the truth, something unexpected happened. Kyle and Amanda locked eyes, and there was something deep, something almost tender in the way they looked at each other. It was a moment of silent understanding, maybe even affection. To avoid making a scene, Carol leaves in frustration, and Amanda quietly returns to her room. That night, when Steven arrives home, Nicole introduces him to Kyle. She explains that Kyle will be staying with them for a few days. During dinner, something strange and a bit shocking happens. Kyle speaks for the very first time, but the words he uses are unexpectedly rude. They're the exact phrases he had heard from the other boys back at the detention center. Then, without thinking, he begins repeating things Lori had said to her boyfriend over the phone. The room falls silent. Everyone is stunned. And in that tense moment, it becomes clear. Kyle is absorbing everything around him like a sponge. Even the things no one expects him to. Run away together without their parents' permission. Nicole's children were still angry at Kyle, but thankfully, the night passed without any more incidents. The next morning, Nicole took Kyle to her office to continue his counseling. Josh, spotting an opportunity, handed Kyle a list of school questions he was supposed to complete. To their shock, Kyle answered every single question correctly and effortlessly. Both Josh and Nicole were stunned. It became clear that Kyle wasn't clueless or slow. In fact, there was something incredibly unique about him. His strange behavior wasn't due to ignorance, it was hiding something much deeper. When Kyle's IQ test results came in, everyone was left speechless. His score? A staggering 400. The doctors were baffled and decided to run more tests. During an MRI scan, they discovered something astonishing. Kyle's brain was far more advanced than that of an average human. His neural activity was off the charts. At that point, only two possibilities made sense. Either Kyle was an alien or a human-designed robot. That night, Nicole brought Kyle back home and arranged for him to share a room with Josh. Josh wasn't thrilled about sharing his room with Kyle, but he knew that complaining would only land him in more trouble, so he kept quiet. Late that night, while everyone was asleep, Kyle heard the creak of a door opening. He looked out and saw Lori sneaking out of the house. Curious, Kyle silently followed her and watched as she arrived at a party. The lively atmosphere swept Kyle off his feet, and before long, he too was caught up in the moment. He drank too much, and soon he was throwing up from the effects of alcohol. But Kyle, having no concept of shame, didn't care at all. He went right back to enjoying the party as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, police officers arrived on the scene. One officer moved to take Lori away, but Kyle stepped in between them. His expression changed. He began making a bizarre hissing noise, almost like a snake. People around him burst into laughter at the strange sight. But when the officer reached out to grab him, Kyle moved back with lightning speed. Enraged, the officer pulled out his baton, ready to teach Kyle a lesson. Yet before he could act, Kyle dodged his strike effortlessly, and in doing so, he embarrassed the officer so thoroughly that the entire crowd erupted in applause. The crowd erupted in applause, but the officer, humiliated and unable to handle the embarrassment, gave up and walked away. That night, Kyle made sure Lori got home safely. The next day, he began trying to make up for his mistakes, slowly winning over the entire family. He started by fixing Steven's computer and recovering some important documents that had been lost for months. Then, he cleaned Josh's room and even brought him a brand new magazine he knew Josh would like. Through these small but thoughtful gestures, Kyle began to win everyone's affection. Seeing this change, Nicole started to think that maybe, until his mysterious past was uncovered, she could temporarily adopt him. There was still something strange. Kyle never slept. At night, instead of resting, he would practice karate endlessly without showing a hint of fatigue. And the weirdest thing? He would eat anything he could get his hands on, cooked or raw. It didn't matter. One day, while Kyle was in the yard, a man in a van was watching him closely. At first, Kyle ignored it, but over time, he began seeing that same man everywhere he went. Something wasn't right. It became clear. Someone was definitely watching Kyle.